Greetings and salutations, everybody. Look at that. Ooh, the sun is shining here in Minnesota. Finally, almost a 50-degree day, thank God. I don't like this cold weather stuff. Anyway, a whole bunch of you have been asking some questions about, hey, what the heck is that? Yeah, that right there. Well, yes, we switched back to a diesel truck, a dually, because of that right there. That would have put us a little bit in the danger zone as far as our payload is concerned, our hitch weight, because that camper is about 600 pounds heavier pin weight than the Cougar that you usually see parked in the shop. So I always say you can never have enough truck, but a bunch of you were asking questions about the diesel versus the gas, and why did I switch back? Well, that's the number one reason. I did like that gas truck we had, that 3/4 ton Ram that you saw in one of the other gas versus diesels video. Quite honestly, if I didn't have to tow a heavier, bigger camper, I would still be driving a gasser. But I'm going to tell you this much. Like I said in the other videos, nothing tows like a diesel. Absolutely nothing. And this thing made me really miss being in a diesel truck. So for me, I think I learned a valuable lesson that it's probably going to be diesel trucks for me from here on out, as long as we're going to be towing campers. I didn't really need a dually to pull that big camper, but for our work and my business, we pull a lot of heavy dump trailers and big heavy job trailers and heavy equipment around. So a diesel dually does come in handy many, many times. Now, one of you, actually it was more than one of you, asked, hey, you should do a comparison of your Ram diesel versus the Chevy diesels that I've had in the past. And I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with the Cummins. Now, I've always been a big Cummins fan. Actually, I've had two of them in the past 15, 16 years, and I liked them a lot. Cummins makes a great motor. Matter of fact, for you truck diesel guys that are out there, I always said my perfect truck would be a Chevy body, Ford interior, Cummins motor paired up with the Allison transmission. But hey, that's in a perfect world. Maybe one of you billionaires that might be watching this channel can come up with a hybrid cross like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, going back to having to fill DEF fluid and all that kind of stuff, you know, it is what it is. Now, this truck is a 2024. Had about 15,000 miles on it. It is the Bighorn edition. It's not the Cummins high output motor, which I was okay with, because that camper, the new Paradigm that we're towing, this truck suits it absolutely fine. So that, however, if I'm going to talk about comparisons in general, how do I like the Ram over the Chevy diesel truck that I've had before in the past? Actually, I've had a lot of them. What would I pick in the end? Well, I would pick the Ram. And part of that reason is I got a little bit tired of transmission recalls and for DEF fluid recalls and for a bunch of other notable GM recalls. But power-wise, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Chevy. When we were towing big campers with our Chevy diesel trucks, going up steep grades, it seemed like we could maintain our speed easier than with this one. But I didn't have that problem when I had the Ram Cummins high output motor. So that made a difference too. But all in all, because we're towing a 35-foot camper, this truck handled it just fine. On those super steep inclines, and again, I was double towing, mind you, coming home, I had the golf cart behind the camper. So on the steep grades, there were 2 or 3 mountains that we climbed where I couldn't get over 51 or 52 miles an hour, and I had my foot to the floor. I'm going to show you one other thing that I give Chevy the edge to over the Ram, and that would be the hitch in the back of the truck. Now, I don't know quite why Ram has to use such a monstrous hitch system. My Chevy took up a third of the room that this one does. This thing is a monster. I can, even with the head unit pulled off, I can barely lift or maneuver that base plate. If numbers serve me correctly, this entire system weighs 208 pounds, if I remember right when I looked it up. Now, one last thing. the KSH fuel tank. I had that custom built down in Havasu, Arizona. That's a 50-gallon reserve tank. I've got it hooked up on a solenoid. So when you're driving down the highway, all you have to do is flip that toggle switch and it starts dumping fuel. And I love all my diesel trucks. I always ran those extra fuel tanks. A big time saver when you're going down the highway. Let's get down to the details here, kids. A lot of you were asking me, hey, make another video once you've had that camper for a while. We want to know how it's holding up or if you found anything wrong. Well, I'm going to show you some things that we discovered have been going on. Now, mind you, we towed this camper from Arizona back up here to Minnesota, which was close to 2,000 miles. From Goshen, Indiana, Middlebury, that area where all these are manufactured, to Lake Havasu City, where the dealership was, is about 1,950 some miles. So it's safe to say this camper's had about approximately 4,000 miles of towing so far. Now that I have it home, there are a few things I'm going to go over with you that we found. Once again, if you're just tuning in and haven't seen any of the other videos, this is a 2025 Alliance Paradigm 310RL. RL, of course, stands for rear living. So going around the outside here, this is what we call the door side of the camper, because that's where you get in and out. Now, one thing I noticed the other day was that baggage door. Now, being a contractor, I'm always looking at sight lines and horizontal, vertical, level, all that kind of stuff. And when I was taking all of our things in and out, I noticed that, as you can see, this is the main compartment door, had a big bulge in it. So I grabbed a level and I'm going to show you what I found. Now, here you see I'm taking a 4-foot level. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the baggage door, like so. And I'm going to show you. See how we are tight? Right here. There's no reveal. It's tight. But as you come down the line, look at that. Badly bowed. Badly bowed. And there you see it again on the left side. See the gap? A huge gap, almost 3/4 of an inch. So this door is badly bowing. Now, again, in general, going over the entire exterior of this camper, I checked all of the hydraulic jacks. This is a 6-point leveling system, so I checked all the hydraulic jacks for any kind of leaks or loose components or any signs of hydraulic fluid, all that kind of stuff. We're going to start at the front. Now, I checked all of the J seals. I checked all of the J molding, all of this kind of molding here to see if there's signs of any kind of movement or anything coming loose. And I did not find anything. Everything so far is very tight. I checked all the reveals of the baggage doors and compartment doors and all that kind of stuff. Now, one thing I am keeping an eye on is that. That's signs of hydraulic fluid. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see what's going on. What I'm going to do is wipe that down and let's see how much of that reappears. I checked all the axles, all the leaf springs, all the shackles and wet bolts. Everything was good. Everything was tight. Again, moving down the line, checking all the transition strips, all the screws, all the awning components, all the window molding and the gaskets. The door is closing perfectly. No issues there. Moving around to the back side. I checked everything out back here as far as how the ladder's doing. Again, all the windows, all the components, all the corner moldings, all the gaskets, all the weather stripping. Now, we did use this to double tow, as you saw in the video. Stepping back to the off-door side, I looked everything over very closely. Again, checking all the seals, all the gaskets, slides, mechanisms, all that stuff. Again, on this side, all of the reveals on the doors, seeing if anything's sagging, if anything's moving. All the hydraulic jacks, all that stuff. And so far, so good. I have not seen any signs of any major issues or any movement of things that shouldn't be moving. So for the most part, just that baggage door and that one hydraulic jack leg, and we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's move to the inside and see what we find. All right, guys, we got the slides opened up now. I've got the accent lights turned on. So let's do a walkthrough of what we found or what happened along the journey home. Now, this shade right here, the main darkening shade, not the one that gives you a little bit of shade, but this shade on this larger atrium window fell down 3 times, and I finally got it fixed when we got home. I put it back up and it kept falling out of the pocket. The complete, the whole mechanism would fall right out of the holders. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I've got some ideas. I'm going to remove the valance or valance, however you like to say it, so I can get to the brackets that are behind there. As far as trim and molding and all that kind of stuff, here you can see the upper pieces here along the ceiling transition trim. Some of those have come loose and popped off, or are starting to. I noticed a little bit of that transition strip between the paneling right there. And moving down the line, you can see this piece has started to come loose. And then down towards the end of the tail of the camper, you can see that piece right there is starting to come off. Now, we did notice right away on our first stop home, that's one of the rope lights for the accent lights started coming down. That's just held on with 3M double stick tape. But you can see that piece of molding is coming off and pretty loose. You can see the gap up there. And then coming down the line, you can see right there at the seam or the joint where that piece is starting to come off. Now, still on the rear section of the camper, in the kitchen area, as you can see here, we're towards the back of the camper. On the entertainment center, now if you saw in the other video, this whole thing slides out and gives you pantry access in the back. What do we find so far? We found some of the molding that goes around it is popping off and coming out. Up at the top, you can see that piece is popping off. Get up to the upper right corner, and that piece is starting to pop off. So honestly, guys, in a nutshell, after 4,000 miles of towing, that's it. The one baggage door that's warped, some of the molding and trim in the living room, and that's it. Long story short, I can live with that. Those are things that you have to expect are going to happen on RVs, campers, coaches, towables, truck campers, all that kind of stuff. They get bounced around the highways. Our road systems suck, as we all know. But at the end of the day, I'm very, very happy. These are just minor little trim pieces that I can fix or you can fix with maybe 15 or 20 minutes of time. So, all in all, it pulled like a dream. It was awesome to stay in this thing all the way home, and for the couple weeks that we owned it while we were still down in Arizona, very, very happy with it. I will be reaching out to Alliance on Monday for the baggage door. As some of you may know, on baggage doors on newer campers, when you open them up, there's a sticker on the outside that has all the information that the manufacturer needs to replace that piece. So I'm going to hit them up on Monday about sending me another baggage door that I'll take care of myself. But other than that, guys, just trivial, very little minor things. You have to be willing and able to fix some things. That goes with the territory if you're an RVer. There's always going to be things to fix. As long as they're minor, that's outstanding. Now, I've had 0 plumbing leaks, 0 water line leaks. I have had absolutely no issues or problems with any slides or mechanisms, anything like that. So that's a win-win for me. If it's just little piddly minor things and a couple little pieces of trim here and there, man, I can live with that. We're very, very happy with this Alliance. And no, as you saw in one of the other videos, we're not sponsored. We don't get paid. They didn't call and offer us a free camper, a camper at half the price. We negotiated and we haggled the price. And I actually talked to Coley Brady about this camper and purchasing it and told him what they were willing to sell it to me for. He said that's an extremely good deal at JR Motors in Havasu City, Arizona. Yes, I'm going to give them a plug. Go see Chris McPhee at that dealership. They are fantastic. This is the second camper that we bought from them. A great, great dealership. So, yes, I very much like this camper. I know Alliance has a fantastic customer service, and I'm going to put it to the test on Monday and see if I can get that baggage door. I want you to stay tuned because Tuesday afternoon I'll be doing that interview with Nate Goldenberg, one of the owners and founders of Brinkley RV. So he's going to go on camera. I've got some questions prepared for him. He said, I will answer any question you ask me. So let's hold him to the fire and see if he does that. So stay tuned for that. I should have that edited down and out by Tuesday evening. Yes, this coming Tuesday evening. So, as always, thanks for tuning in, you guys, and coming on the journey. We got a lot more stuff coming up for you. So I hope you hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate the support. So, stick around. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.